Well, first of all, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming here. Hope you enjoy the pizza and the beer. Well, first, I guess it's a good moment to say who we are as a company. We are basically an insurance broker. We are specialized in small business insurance. The stuff like sole traders, limited companies with not a lot of people, also landlords, stuff like that. Our stack is mainly Ruby on Rails, but we are in the kind of a spot if someone can make an argument for another language or another platform, it's like, sure, let's do it. We, for example, are using right now Elixir for other applications. Contrary to what may look, it's actually a pretty interesting field. I mean, if you like to dig for corner cases, there are no more corner cases in this world than in insurance. And as for us, this is our testing team. We have plenty of lovely people. Hasal, Toby, myself, there used to be another photo there. Iwan, Chris on the other side of the ocean, Joaquin and Nitish. So for me, just been testing since I joined Simply Business like 4.5 years ago. You know, I kind of like this. Outside this, I do things like painting, building model kits. I have way too much hobby. And Chris, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I've been, welcome everyone. Christopher Grandoit. And I've been in the testing space for a little over 13 years. Played many roles, many hats, tester, automator, manager, evangelist, right? And yeah, it's been an exciting time, and you know, testing is definitely something that is always changing and exciting. So you know why I'm still here, and I think a lot of us are still in this industry and space.
Okay, so now that's who we are. As of why we are here. So the key here is, since I've been here, and even before I've been here, testing has had many phases in this company. We were from waterfall. We thought, okay, let's do agile. Then it's like, okay, you know what? Let's automate the whole thing. Let's do other stuff. So we've done a lot of stuff. We made mainly the change from waterfall to agile. And every time at any point, we have these high and lows. At some point, it's like, okay, we achieved something. This is the end. We achieved nirvana. And 2 months later, it's like, okay, everything is sinking. Probably we were too eager. Maybe we have to take a step back and reflect. So it was like, you know, we have plenty of dilemmas. Do we have manual automation? Do we have the testing team in one side, or we put testing team in one person of testing team in each team? Are we going to keep a feature? Where we go? Are we doing agile, or we are doing that thing that is waterfall with stand-ups at the beginning? So yeah, this is this presentation is going to be lessons learned, what we did, or highs, or well, actually, wait a minute, this is not so high. And we are going to start with, even before I joined, and the dreadful Pleistocenic waterfall era. Oh my God. I mean, when I joined, I still have to deal with this from time to time, so this was painful. So we had a big platform, and it was gigantic, and every time we had to put a change, it took forever. So you had to do things, you have the change, then the change got put to the testers, the tester made a local environment, the tested local environment, then we got, after a couple of weeks, an environment, testing environment done, you tested the testing environment, you had to jump through a lot of hoops, there is a lot of application, then we have the nerd machine, which I absolutely hate. We have a lot of applications for testing with name of vegetables. I don't remember, and I don't want to remember. It was all a complete mess, and the less time I spend in this slide is actually the better. So it was this. It was this point of being bad when people are higher up at the company say, okay, let's change the way we do this, and let's move to agile. And here we go. One of the things, the more radical things, is we are going to use GitHub, and as a lot of people have seen, to change how things are, you know. The reviews are in GitHub, people have the discussion on the pull request, people give the OK on the pull request. It's pretty standard fare. And of course, the first time you apply this and you do that, you are like, oh, of course, stories explode in the middle way. We have a queue for deploying changes, but the queue was small, so it doesn't matter. So first time, everything is fast, You made your story, you made your car, you find the car, you push, everything is excellent, everything is fine. And of course, because we are changing from what we used before was Java to Ruby on Rails, suddenly we have to write features. And the first time you do it is like, this is the best thing ever. I mean, if you put a given when then, hey, everything is perfect. It's perfect language. Actually, no, but well, what we knew at the moment, it was the new thing for us. So developers could do this faster. We used to have a beaver plus that we throw to each other to signal who could deploy. I mean, it was the happy times. Yeah, we could have each time could release multiple things, because now each developer has their story, each developer put a pull request, the QA at the end is like checking the stories. I mean, one team releasing multiple times, every perfect, right? Well, actually no. So we highlight a new problem. Testers were at the end, testers were at the gatekeepers. So you had a team of 3 developers, and each developer do this story parallelly, and all compares to the same tester at the same time. It's like, we have 3 stories, your tester is like, okay, wait a goddamn minute, I still have the previous story you passed me 2 days ago. So we have a bottleneck. There was also another thing, because we still rely a lot on testing at the end and trying to catch error. The later kind of thing is like, sure, this works, I did the things, I know the application works, but maybe still something. We did this fast, but because we rely a lot of doing things at the end, we were never completely sure, and that made things, that made the test do things slower, things keep accumulating. What kind of painful. So we thought, okay, think about it. If the developer at the end doing things manually is what slow things down, why would I pick this manual doing things and put them out of the window and go through the new age of the future? Viva robot, let's automate absolutely everything. So we decided to put a new twist of that. I started, it works very well. We put a lot of focus on automated tests, and we started to see, okay, what things we can automate. Setting things up is a pain. Okay, scripts to automate every single, a lot of most common cases. Do you want to do a renewal of a policy? Run this script, 2 seconds do you have ready for testing. We started to do things, changing libraries. It sounded well, We already have unit tests, but we started to automate as a tester higher levels. Excellent so far. It expected things at the beginning, and also it was starting, this area is quite good, because I started to start thinking less about, is this thing working, and more about, if these things were not to work, how it will not work. It was cool. And we also started to take a little more care about documentation. We have a whole repository of GitHub all about telling things to yourself, and this also helped us when one of the developer was about, okay, what does this smell? And we were like, read this. Yeah, we started to do our own tooling, and that was a good thing for a lot of us. Maybe the application too slow, it's too fast. Let's make our own. We have a small an app that have basically real-time. What are the every time you make a release, calculated the time, and you could say which one is slowest and fastest one. Pretty cool. It was, however, still not the best thing. So we started to get our handover of automation. So some cases start to slip out of our control, and the thing is, they are still, even if you wanted to tell a machine, laptop, automate all the tests, there are still things a machine cannot detect, or things you cannot do. A machine can do this, this what I told you wrong, yeah. A machine cannot prevent. A machine cannot look at a system and say, I think I know how this could fail. So at this point, we have to take a step back. We were applying technical solution, applying new techniques, but they were still not cutting it. So what if we rethink what it means to be testing at Simply Business? When we say testing, what do we want up from it? What can we do about it? And we go to the present era. Chris, you take the control from here. Tell me what you want to pass this slide.
Will do. Cool. All right, so yeah, credits go to Growing Agile for the manifesto principles that we're sharing with you today. These principles help define how we approach testing here at Simply Business. And what this represents is a major shift in the focus on how quality measures are conducted. So from personal experience, as well as talking with other testers and engineering organizations, meetups like today, a lot of struggles are from the fact that the testing attention on the product is often too late in the process. The manifesto talks about, instead of testing at the end, testing throughout, switching from more of a prevention model than a detection model, and building the system with quality over breaking it, and testing, understanding assumptions over checking functionality, as well as a team responsibility for quality over the tester's responsibility. Next slide, please. So by removing the testing activity as the primary responsibility of the tester, also known as the QA phase, it opened up a lot of opportunities to focus on including the testing mindset throughout the life cycle. So in the past, the focus was primarily on the product, assuring that the product developed, met the criteria on which it was built, and did not introduce any new issues. And while that functional aspect is still part of the culture, as testers, we not only focus on moving those aspects early into the life cycle, but we also focus on expanding the testing mindset of the ones who are building the product, also known as the developers or engineers. And by adding our testing expertise, mindset, and strategies pre-implementation, the developers can extend this during the implementation, and as a result, this reduces the work in progress limitations we've seen in the past, or as Sebastian mentioned, the bottlenecks. Next slide. So while our focus has shifted to getting included early in the development process and pushing quality throughout, we also focused in a variety of other areas. So while each tester sits within a product team, we meet frequently as a testing team to help set our testing direction, collaborate on our career objectives, share testing techniques from manual exploratory to test automation. We treat testing as our own brand and identity, and we push that into the organization through practice, education, and knowledge sharing. Next slide, please. And so, what excited me about joining Simply Business was knowing that the testing team had gone through some innovative changes in how testing was approached. And what got us here was the desire to continually improve and knowing that even if something is working for you, it doesn't mean it's the only way. And while understanding quality is not the responsibility of the tester per se, but the entire team, it still leaves room for a subject matter expertise like ourselves to push the boundaries of testing both horizontally and vertically. So what we put on here are some questions that we do ask ourselves day to day. Can we take more ownership in monitoring during our releases and after, both from our staging to production deployments? A lot of what I think we focus on a lot in the industry is functional aspects, but what about all the non-functional, like performance, security, compatibility? The list can go on and on. In a lot of agile organizations, the ratio is typically one tester to 4 or 5 engineers and developers, but as we grow teams, and can we think about a more leaner model where we can extend ourselves and support multiple teams? What are the other things we can learn about our customers through our data analytics, our user testing, our A/B testing, and stuff like that. Next slide, and I think that's over to you, Sebastian.
Yeah, so that's how we're doing things, field stuff. So one of the things we know is this file of testing tends to have people, having a strong opinion. So probably now among all of us, there are people who say, these guys know how they're doing, or these guys on the gut direction. Also people, they are like, they have no freaking idea. So yeah, do you have an strong opinion of the testing will look in the future? There is any cool lesson you will want to share here? Grab a drink, let's talk, and if any one of you like how this thing is, we are now at the point, because we are growing, and you can see we are so growing internationally, that we are hiring, so if anyone is interested, yeah, just please grab us. Thank you very much.